Nation, welcome to the Colbert Report. I'm your four-legged misfit of infotainment, DUZA BEAR. In his video, Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person, School of Life creator Alain de Botton describes addiction as any pattern of behavior that you turn to in order to keep away from any tricky self-knowledge or spending time with yourself. And while everyone is imperfect and therefore unpleasant to be around at least some of the time, the fact so many of us have behavioral problems and addictions we use to avoid ourselves would logically make the pursuit of partnerships pointless. I mean, if you don't love you, how can you expect someone else to love you? Well, it's Valentine's Day, so I've got some advice. And the first order of business is to get to the root cause of your general unhappiness. And while that seems like an insurmountable task, and the work to address it is a very big job, I'm going to share with you something I learned very early on. The path to unhappiness is paved with expectations. We all have them. It's impossible not to. We're thinking, feeling beings. But the less expectations one has, the fewer disappointments one will have. It means embracing realism over optimism, looking at everything and honestly answering the question, is this something I actually have control over? Because if the answer is no, then there's no point having an expectation about it. You can't make the lottery give you millions. You can't make thousands of people like your video. So feeling bad because you put a lot of hard work for months into making them, only to see single-digit views, robs you of the satisfaction of having set out to do a thing and then finishing it. My happiness isn't in the hands of anyone else. I do these because I want to. I'm very grateful for every view, like, comment, and particularly those who opt to sponsor these videos, like today's Patreon producer, Rick Yeager. Thanks, Rick! But all that is gravy to the purpose behind these. And the moment the work isn't the reward, then it's time to reevaluate what my expectations are before I allow expectations that I have no control over to ruin things. And knowing what you can control is an important boundary everyone needs to understand. Because you might think you're not an optimist, particularly if you're unhappy. But the idea that something you're about to do isn't going to be frustrating is the very definition of optimism. And your hurt and anger over it being difficult is because of that expectation. The expectation that everything wasn't going to be frustrating wasn't met. All expectations, all of them, are the byproduct of optimism. So if you accept the fact that any city with tens of thousands of independently controlled vehicles are going to lurch around in a slow, uncoordinated manner of near chaos, then you're less likely to expect traffic to move quickly. You will have ditched the optimism of flowing traffic for the reality of semi-controlled chaos. And then you're less likely to get upset that traffic isn't moving. Understand that every person goes through wild swings between comfort, loneliness, discomfort, pain, insecurity, and then you're less likely to have an issue with someone else when they're not perfect. And that includes you. The only thing you can count on is that you will live a while. You will have to suffer inconveniences as you make your way through a world you share with trillions of other life forms, and then at some point, maybe soon, maybe not, you will die. That's it. Any expectations you put in are simply time bombs to your later unhappiness. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have any expectations. If we enter into relationships, then we need ground rules for things to function. Same with society. But we also need to understand that things happen that will occasionally upset the apple cart. We will be disappointed by our expectation that once something works, it doesn't work perfectly forever. And the same is true for you. We have this fantasy that if someone doesn't intuitively understand us and know what we need without us having to express that they don't really love us. But we don't understand us, and we're in our own heads. Stop expecting anyone, yourself included, to guess what you're feeling and what you need. Just stop it. The reason you have addictions is even you are trying to avoid you. So accept that you are imperfect, that you often don't know what you want or need, and that you will frequently grasp at the wrong straws trying to figure that out. And that in doing so, you will often go the wrong path, the pattern of behavior that at that moment seems to be the one thing that will keep you from facing your inner demons and pain, your addiction. And then realize that most of that inner pain also stems from your expectations of yourself or someone else or life in general. It owes you nothing. But if you're able to find food to eat, water to drink, can remain warm and dry during rainstorms and winter blizzards, if you have a bed to sleep in and can do so with a very low risk of dying during the night because you are secure, then you've already won most of life. Before you expect anyone out there is going to love you, tear down the expectations you have for yourself. Because if you don't love you, how can you expect someone else to? Happy Valentine's Day. Take the day to love the ones you need, including you.